experience and then just really enjoy their time up there. Yeah, so it was vetting the entire experience and making sure that we cover the right aspects of it.
Right. So I also got to be an astronaut, but I didn't get to do the next kind of critical step, which is getting inside of the capsule on top of the rocket when it's fully fueled, fully loaded, like we did during our last launch and last webcast. You were one of two. You and Gary Lai went in there. What was that like when you went in there and the hatch was closed? What is that feeling like?
Yeah, the entire tower operation of Astronaut Load was just a very sensory experience. And we walked through the sequence a couple days in advance just to rehearse everything, all of the movements. But on launch day, we got out of the cars and we're standing at the bottom of the tower, and you could hear the vehicle venting. And when you looked at it, there was frost coming off the side, like you see sometimes in movies. And it's just this overwhelming sense of this thing that is waiting to launch, and we're kind of holding it up, you know?
Right.
So there was a great sense of urgency that didn't exist on the days that we rehearsed it. And when we got up and finally ingressed and strapped into our seat, there were a lot of things. It was very mechanical because of the training that we had gone through in the simulator. And we sat down and strapped in, and it wasn't until then that you're waiting for the crew to do the checks and empty out the cabin of the various equipment that you kind of look out and you realize like how high up you are,
where you are.
Yeah, and you could feel the vehicle swaying a little bit on the launch mount, like that rocket is ready to launch. And when it closed, I remember thinking before, like, oh, I'm going to have all these clever things to say to Gary, you know, because we've worked together for so long. And, like, I couldn't think of anything. It was just like, I want to go so badly, you know? Like, can you lock the hatch from the inside?
We were wondering if you guys were going to do a little stowaway situation. Sorry, there are cameras.
I know.
Saw you.
Yeah. So it was just this really rich sensory experience being in there from all angles. Yeah.
Well, so you are now head of New Shepard Flight and Mission Ops. What does it feel like this day that we're actually putting people on board and we're closing the hatch and we're keeping the people in the capsule to go to space and back? What does that feel like?
Well, we've spent, in recent weeks, we've finalized a years-long effort called our Human Flight Certification Plan. And it culminated in an extensive review, over the last month with external reviewers, and our FAA partners were involved. And it was the culmination of the entire program, years of work on this program. And I was so struck by how much work has gone into this across the years and across the disciplines. And the people in that room kind of finalizing all of these check boxes, it was just an overwhelming sense of the history that we had collected of this program. And I was so, before I came to this position in New Shepard, I supported New Shepard, and I knew the hard work that was going on in this program, but I have been so struck by just the professionalism and the bias for action and just the critical thinking that everyone on this program puts in. And I have been awestruck by people that I have been working with for years. I mean, I knew what great work they did, but being part of it and part of this team, I'm so honored that they wanted me in this position, and that I'm participating in this now. Yeah.
Well, Audrey, to you and to your team, to the whole Blue Origin team, thank you for all of your hard work. We cannot wait to see the launch, and Godspeed, New Shepard.
Thank you. I can't wait to see it either.
Audrey offers such great insight into New Shepard. She's also a pilot herself. Oh, and the chair of the Commercial Spaceflight Federation. She's had an incredible impact on space legislation and policy in some major ways, as well as a major impact on Blue Origin. So thank you to Audrey. She's kind of busy today, so we're very proud to have had her on stage just a couple of days ago. All right, we're at T-minus 55 minutes to go until launch. Let's go ahead and check out New Shepard as she gets ready for her flight today to space and back with our first human flight crew. Thank you, everybody, again for joining us live from West Texas for Blue Origin's first human flight. We are at T-minus 52 minutes to go until launch. Right now, our 4 astronauts are inside the astronaut training center. We are waiting for them to exit to get in the Rivians, and then we will be waiting for a go for astronaut load-in. I can already hear the helicopter above that's going to be following them on their way out. Now, that astronaut training center, what we have in that training center is basically it's a classroom, but I'd say the centerpiece of it is a beautiful crew capsule simulator. And it's a really cool simulator. Some of you may have seen in the past, we've had a mock-up that we've been able to take to various events. But the simulator that's in the astronaut training center is kind of a step above, a step beyond, because in it we are able to simulate the sounds, the vibrations, the full crew screen and alert system that we have for every single seat. And so during the training, you spend a lot of time, of course, understanding, with crew member 7, understanding the general New Shepard system, all of the procedures, ingress, egress, and getting to know the Blue Origin team. But you do spend a lot of time in that crew capsule. And as mentioned, we go through these simulations of the flights and of all sorts of different scenarios so that our astronauts feel comfortable, as we said, so they can sit back and kind of enjoy the ride, enjoy this incredible experience. They've got these huge windows right next to them. We want them to be focused on that view, focused on feeling the G's as they come on. You know, you're in these beautiful, nice, soft, reclined seats that disperse the G's. It's a wonderful experience. And that simulator, we run these scenarios, we've got full audio, we've got full vibration, and it's a really critical component of the training program, let's say. Now, we also, of course, we will take them out to the pad the day before launch. We want them to walk up the crew access tower. You'll see it's hidden a little bit in that shot there on the left there, but that is the safety shelter. So we'll see as the astronauts drive out to the pad itself, they will ascend the stairs, the set of stairs on the left. They'll take kind of a bit of a timeout in the safety shelter. The crew member 7, Kevin Spro, will go out to the across the bridge there to the tower that's in the center of your screen. He will be working with the tower crew there, make sure everything is set and sorted to go for our astronauts. He will then go back to the safety shelter and get the astronauts and get them ingressed into the capsule. The astronauts right now, though, they are in the astronaut training center. Again, we are waiting for them to emerge shortly here. We are at T-minus 49 minutes to go until launch. Again, they are going to be entering into their Rivian trucks and heading out to the launch pad. This will be our first glimpse of the astronauts. We're going to see those shining smiles of theirs. I'm sure they're trying to contain their excitement. You know, you've got that excited energy that, of course, they are controlling themselves. Although, again, let's be honest, Wally Funk doesn't control her excitement. I'm, as I said, fully expecting her to do full somersaults and cartwheels on her way into the Rivians. And why don't we just wait here for a moment as we wait for those astronauts to emerge. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for New Shepard's first human flight. We are waiting for our astronauts to emerge from the astronaut training center. We've got our on-the-ground correspondent, Caitlin Dietrich, who is just outside of the training center. Caitlin, what's going on out there?
So you can really feel the energy start to build now. We've just heard that everything's continuing nominally towards launch. The countdown is moving forward. We got our helicopters in the air waiting to capture our astronauts as they take their Rivians to the launch pad. The sun's coming up. It's a beautiful morning. Our teams are going to be standing on the road, hooting and hollering as the astronauts drive by on their way to the tower. And I'm starting to get goosebumps over here, and it's a little bit emotional. But we'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we'll watch these Astros as they head out into their truck and on their way to space.
Fantastic. Thanks, Caitlin. We'll send it back to Caitlin in a moment here as we wait for those astronauts to emerge from the Astronaut Training Center. You know, I'll tell you, the last thing that they do before they exit the training center is there's this special coin ceremony. It's a challenge coin that's given to each one of the astronauts for them to take in their suit up to space and back. It's a military tradition, but it really makes you feel like you are part of a team. And what a team to be part of. What a crew to be part of. Only New Shepherds astronauts are going to be able to get these coins. You only get the coin if you get to go up to space and back. And these astronauts, again, have completed their training, and they are ready to become the next set of international astronauts. So again, we're waiting here for just a moment while we wait for the astronauts to emerge from the Astronaut Training Center. We are at T-minus 46 minutes to go until launch. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for New Shepard's first human flight. We are at T-minus 45 minutes, and here the astronauts come. There you see Jeff Bezos in the foreground, Oliver Damon stepping into the Rivian. Crew member 7, Kevin Sprogge, there on the right. as well as Wally Funk. What a moment for her. At the age of 82, she will become the oldest astronaut to have ever flown into space. And there she is, loading into the Rivian. Wally was part of the Mercury 13 program back in the 1960s. The program to train women to go to space that ultimately was canceled, but now it is her moment. Today is an incredible day for her. All right, now we're going to be waiting for mission control to get a go for astronaut load out to the pad. That's when the Rivian will start heading out towards the pad. They're actually going to pass right behind me here. I'm certainly going to give them a wave. They then will pass mission control, get some last-minute love from our team there, as well as their families. And then they will head down the road to space to the launch pad. And we'll go for load-in. There they go, everybody. What a moment. You can probably hear our team already losing it down here. We are super excited. And there they are. High fives from everybody. What an incredible moment. They're coming over here just behind my right shoulder. A moment we've been waiting for here at Blue Origin. So much hard work has led to this moment. How exciting. Wally Funk, the Bezos brothers, Oliver Damon, our 4 crew members are heading out to the launch pad. There they go. See you guys. Oh my gosh, they are in for the flight of a lifetime. And just a couple yards to my left here, that is mission control, and here they go, passing by mission control. There you see Jeff Bezos waving to the team. And they're going to hang a left there as they head down the road to space. Now, while we watch them travel down that road to space, they've got just a couple of moments. It's a long 2-mile road there. We've got a couple of moments. Why don't we meet aviation icon Wally Funk?
You're in zero gravity for 4 minutes. You come back down. We land gently on the desert surface. We open the hatch and you step outside. What's the first thing you say?
I will say, honey, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'll give you a hug. I've been flying forever, and I have 19,600 flying hours. I have taught over 3,000 people to fly, private, commercial, instrument, flight engineer, airline transport, gliding, everything that the FAA has, I've got the license for. And I can outrun you. Back in the 60s, I was in the Mercury 13 program. They asked me, do you want to be an astronaut? I said, yes. They told me that I had done better and completed the work faster than any of the guys. So I got a hold of NASA 4 times. I said, I want to become an astronaut, but nobody would take me. I didn't think that I would ever get to go up. Nothing has ever gotten in my way. They said, Wally, you're a girl, you can't do that. I said, guess what? Doesn't matter what you are. You can still do it if you want to do it. And I like to do things that nobody has ever done.
We're going to fly you up into space on the very first flight. That's your
I can't tell people that are watching how fabulous I feel to have been picked by Blue Origin to go on this trip.
You're going to be an astronaut.
Oh, finally! And I'll love every second of it. Woo! Ha ha! I can hardly wait.
We are just so thrilled and frankly honored to help Wally Funk finally realize her dream of going to space. Now, recently I was lucky enough to spend a couple of moments with her right here at the desk. Why don't we take a look? Wally, it is a pleasure to meet you. As a fellow pilot, you are an inspiration, so thank you.
You don't know how great it is to meet you, that you are a pilot. I want you to go fly more in that glider and jumping.
Oh, well,
that's great.
And hopefully follow in your footsteps and go on New Shepard one day.
Absolutely. Oh,
I mean,
yes.
So, Wally, you've waited a while to go to space. It's a silly question, but are you excited?
No, not at all. Of course. Since I got on the airplane and I got to fly the airplane and get here and meet all of you, this is so fantastic.
What do you so on launch day? What do you think is going to be the most exciting thing? What are you looking forward to the most?
Lift off, climb, undo, and be able to move around in the if there's room. I want to do a lot of stuff because I've done that in other situations.
And you were just telling me a second ago, you're going to take your camera up there and you've got a postcard that you're going to take a photo with.
That is what's going to be on the window when I go up, and then I'm going to take a picture of it with the Earth behind me.
That's such a beautiful photo of you and the American flag back there in your flight suit, and that's going to be a spectacular photo. So, you know, this is probably, I imagine, your first time down here in West Texas at our launch site?
Absolutely.
What do you think?
No, I used to be in Texas and teach. I think everything's fantastic. I mean, I've been treated so well, and the food is so great. I can't believe it's coming from, I don't know, California.
Right, right.
And you're lucky to be here with all these friends and the people and see what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, so, Wally, as I said, you've been an inspiration to me. What would you say to the next generation of young people that are out there that want to go to space?
Well, I've talked to young people all my life. How many of you girls and boys want to fly? Well, not many raise their hands. I said, well, I tell you what, get your parents to take you out and give you a flight.
Right.
That's what my parents did at 7 years old. And if you like it, you'll continue on. And if you don't, you might continue on because something's going to be in your heart that's going to want you to do that.
I cannot wait to see you go to space. Thank you for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
So yes, as you just saw, Wally Funk is the real deal. I was doing my best to contain my fangirl moment there because she, again, is an inspiration to so many people around the world, and myself included. We see here that the astronauts are starting to ascend the crew tower. There's Wally waving. She's leading the crew. Gary, welcome back. It's good to have you back here at the desk to get you to help with the play-by-play here. We just saw a moment ago that they drove around the ring road, stopped, took a photo because, of course, you know, we're memorializing this moment as best we can for these astronauts. They so deserve it. So going up the tower, we've got Wally, then it looks like Jeff Bezos, his brother Mark, and Oliver Damon. They're heading up to their rocket. Now, while we have a moment here, I do understand that Caitlin Dietrich is standing by at Mission Control. What's going on outside Mission Control, Caitlin?
Hey guys, Caitlin here. I'm with Jarrett Jones, the head of our New Glenn program here. Jarrett, how are you feeling today watching the launch here from Mission Control?
Excited, awesome, this is amazing. It's just incredible. You could only dream about this day. And you know what, Caitlin? it's not lost on me and probably many of the viewers that today is like July the 20th, the day Neil Armstrong, who also graduated from my alma mater, Boiler Up, stepped on the moon and made history. And we're doing it at New Shepard and Blue Origin, doing our first human launch, and it's just amazing. And the reason I'm excited but also focused is that there's quite a bit of technology transfer from New Shepard to New Glenn. Everything from the BE3 engine with the LOX and the hydrogen all the way down to our landing gear. I mean, this is an exciting day for us, and I'm just excited. I don't want to take the spotlight away. It's about New Shepard, and I'm just very proud of this team and then Blue Origin as a whole. I mean, just amazing day, Caitlin.
Well, we like to say that New Shepard is basically the second stage of New Glenn. So you're kind of seeing the second stage fly here today.
Absolutely, absolutely. New Shepard was built and designed for scalability, and we took advantage of it in New Glenn. So it's amazing feat that we're doing, and just proud to be here. Just glad to be here, Caitlin.
So smart. It's the epitome of our step-by-step approach, as you hear us say. And I want to pan back to Mission Control. We've got a lot of our team here on the porch here. Hey, guys! Woohoo! We are so excited. We saw the astronauts fly by here just a second ago, and right in that room is some of the world's most brilliant engineers flying this rocket today. And I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get a little bit emotional. So back to you, Ariane, and we'll see you after launch.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Thank you, Caitlin. Enjoy the launch. Jarrett Jones, enjoy the launch. Everybody out there outside of Mission Control, as well as in Mission Control, enjoy the launch. Gary, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Caitlin touched on it just a second ago, how basically New Shepard is being scaled up to New Glenn. Tell me how you've thought about that, because you're part of, obviously, New Shepard, the architect of New Shepard, but you've been part of thinking about the broader roadmap, if you will, that Blue Origin has.
That's right. New Glenn is a scaled-up version of New Shepard. It does use different main propulsion for the first stage, but the second stage of New Glenn, that engine is a derivative of the BE3 engine that's flying New Shepard today. And the techniques for vertical landing, which we perfected with the New Shepard vehicle, are going to be applied to the New Glenn vehicle. We have very high confidence that the very first launch of New Glenn will stick that landing on the ship. We would not have that confidence without the New Shepard program.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Jarrett Jones, again, who leads that entire New Glenn program, he has a big job, but he's gotten a lot of help. He's kind of gotten this catapulted help from the development and now the operations and flight of New Shepard. I should note that New Glenn will also carry humans one day. We build all of our programs from the very beginning with the intent to put people on board. And talking about astronauts and people, we just saw them enter into the astronaut safety shelter. I would like to highlight one thing, which is, Wally was saying that she could outrun you. She was the first up those stairs and first in the astronaut shelter. So no lie, that Wally Funk, she's got quite a bit of energy. She's 82, but I'm convinced every time I read that it's a typo, that she's actually 28, because again, that woman. All right. Gary, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happening in the shelter? Because we should remind our viewers that on the last flight that we had, we basically did a full-up rehearsal of what we're doing right now. You were part of that astronaut crew that we had. What happens in the shelter?
So the shelter has two main functions. It's a shelter in case of some kind of emergency. If they need to evacuate the capsule very quickly, they can go across the bridge only about 75 feet and be in this shelter very fast. It is fireproof. It can handle a whole set of anomalies that might happen with the rocket. You see those blue tanks against the wall? The shelter has its own air breathing supply in case of a fire outside. It also has communications. They can talk directly to Capcom from there. Right now, they are just waiting for the go-ahead from the pad crew that is preparing the capsule to start astronaut load.
Fantastic. And you see there in the foreground, in the black suit, that is Kevin Sprague, our crew member 7, as well as Wally Funk, seated on the left, soon to become the oldest person to have ever flown in space. Then, going clockwise here, Oliver Damon, soon to be the youngest person to have ever flown in space at the age of 18. He comes to us from the Netherlands. A special shout out to our international viewers, especially those in the Netherlands. Hello, everybody. You should be very proud of your countrymen there. Then we have, of course, Mark Bezos, brother to Jeff Bezos, our founder, in the cowboy hat. He is a true Texan at heart. You know, we call it the ranch down here. We like to incorporate that into a lot of what we do and the spirit that we have down here at our launch site 1. All right, they are leaving the astronaut safety shelter here. Let's watch as they prepare to cross the bridge. What a moment. Jeff Bezos. Mark Bezos. Wally Funk. And Oliver Damon. Ring the ceremonial bell, making some noise on their way to get into the crew capsule. Kevin, the crew member 7 that you see there in the black suit, he is now going to help them ingress, get into the capsule, get situated in their seats, and of course help them get buckled into their harnesses and go through any final safety checks before closing the hatch. I mean, we should note though, Gary and I have both been through the astronaut training experience. It's a 5-point harness. By the time you're done with training, you can do that you see going into the hatch.
So that is just a cabin environmental control system. While it's on the pad, before we seal the hatch, we want to make sure the air is fresh and air conditioned in there. That hose will be removed, obviously, during hatch closure. And so what they're doing now is just one by one entering the cabin and getting fastened, and then they will go through a series of comm checks with Capcom.
Fantastic. There's Wally Funk in seat number 3 there. Oliver getting situated in seat number 1. I'm starting to shake a little bit. Not only, again, have we practiced this, and not only on the last flight did we have a full astronaut rehearsal like this, but it's different. We've done, again, 15 consecutive missions to get to this point. But it's so much different when you put people on board. But again, so much testing, so much design, so much thought, and incredibly well-trained Blue Origin team that's supporting these astronauts, our first crew on New Shepard. Just wonderful. We are ready for today. Now, we are standing by here for Capcom to welcome our crew into the capsule. Let's stand by for some audio there. There's our mission control. And Sarah Knights. Sarah Knights, again, she has this incredible...
I have you loud and clear, 7. How me?
Here comes Kevin. Kevin will help you out. Here it comes, Wally. I can see it's jammed in there. Don't keep pulling on it. He'll come get it.
So again, we've got Capcom Sarah Knight. She's one of our crew member 7 on the left. Our 4 astronauts are loaded into the capsule. There is Wally Funk in her seat, as well as Mission Control. Talk about locked and loaded. This team is really, I mean, you've been in Mission Control during these launches. What is that like?
So at this point in the procedure, everybody is incredibly focused. They're true professionals. They are looking at the data, they're following procedures. There's really no distraction. You can hear a pin drop in that room unless they're working an issue. And as you saw in that picture, we run a very, very tight ship here at Blue Origin and on the New Shepard program. That picture of the front room of mission control, that is all the people that are operating the rocket at this point, in terms of pushing the buttons to make things happen, in addition to the pad crew.
There you see, we've got crew member 7 that is making sure Wally's harnesses are all tight and snug there. You know, to your point about crew, Gary, I mean, we talk about designing an autonomous vehicle that launches and lands and we reuse, but we've built also the operations to also complement that, to lower the cost of accessing to space, because that's at the heart of building this road to space. So we've built it so that it's an efficient vehicle, efficient operations.
Absolutely. So in addition to that front room, which is really just a half a dozen people and some backups to relieve them in case they need a break, there is an engineering back room right behind that room. It's the size of a small conference room, really, and it consists of engineers that are there just in case there's an anomaly that needs investigation. Mm-hmm. But you can actually see it through those back windows. That's it. That is all that is needed to launch New Shepard. We have some support staff on call in Washington State in case of an anomaly, but for the most part, that's it. And we architected it that way. So
look, we got catch. Did you say catch Wally? She was waving at you, Gary. Oh, and is that? I think that's the postcard that she promised everybody she was going to be bringing up to space with her. So not only is the crew ready, but we got the props ready. We've got the photo shoot all set up. But getting back to the crew and crew operations that we've set up, as you said, lean and mean, but also, we talked about it earlier, in addition to the safety and critical to safety are redundant systems, backup systems, backup to the backup. And, you know, we were talking about the team that we have back in Kent. So that is part of it. It's not just in, you know, let's say the mechanical systems, the engineering that goes into the capsule, but from an operational standpoint, we've built that in from the very beginning. Some beautiful shots there of the capsule. So the window with the white square there, that is Wally Funk. To the left, that is Mark Bezos, Jeff Bezos' brother. And in fact, to the left of him, a little harder to see off of that other window, that will be Jeff Bezos. And Oliver Damon on the other side of the hatch, he's also harnessed in, ready to go to space, ready to become the youngest person to have ever flown in space. Again, he comes from the Netherlands. So beautiful. Again, as we talked about at Blue Origin, we really want to open up this experience to the world, and it's so wonderful that he is not just representing the next generation, but also more flags as we fly to space. Standing by here from Capcom.
New Shepard, this is Blue Origin Mission Control. Good morning, astronauts, and welcome aboard the RSS First Step. Let's get things started with a comm check. Astronaut Oliver, how do you read?
Blue Control, astronaut Oliver, loud and clear.
Copy. Astronaut Wally, how do you read me?
Wally, push the button and answer. Push the button until you can hear you're good. Oh, boy, that's clear.
Copy, Astronaut Wally. Astronaut Demo.
Blue Control, this is Astronaut Demo. I have you loud and clear.
Copy. Astronaut Bezos.
Blue Control, Bezos. I read you loud and clear. Thanks for everything, Sarah. We appreciate it.
It's my honor and my pleasure. All right, astronauts, we are at T-minus 21 minutes and counting. As we proceed, I'll keep you updated. For now, just sit back and relax.
Fantastic, and there you heard it. All 4 astronauts are ready to go to space. They just had a quick comms check with Sarah Knights on Capcom, one of our crew member 7 there. You heard all 4 astronauts are jazzed. You know, Wally there was, I'm sure she's a bit distracted again. We've said this before. She has waited over 60 years from the days that she was part of the Mercury 13 program to go to space. That program to get women into space was canceled. But you know what? She is canceled no more, everybody. She is going to space. Such an honor to be able to help her realize this dream of going to space after so long. What a moment, what a woman that really personifies perseverance and pushing through it. All right, and here we go. We are closing the hatch. Gary, do you want to talk a little about what happens when you close the hatch? Obviously, it's a pressurized vehicle. What does that mean with regards to closing the hatch there?
So the hatch has a double seal on it. There are two sets of seals. So what they're going to do when they close the hatch to make sure it is properly sealed is they're actually going to pull a vacuum in between both of those seals and make sure that vacuum doesn't decay. And that checks the integrity of both seals.
Fantastic. Now, I understand that we've got Caitlin Dietrich again on the ground. We've got an update from her. Caitlin,